My chosen one, what I am about to reveal to you is not symbolic, not poetic, not something you scroll past and forget 5 minutes later. This is urgent. Archangel Michael says what's about to happen cannot be stopped. If you ignore this is not a joke. It's serious. There are moments in history when heaven whispers, and there are moments where heaven commands attention. This is the second kind. You did not click on this by accident. You were guided here. Out of millions of videos, out of endless noise, your spirit was led to this exact message at this exact time. And if your heart is beating a little faster right now, if something inside you feels alert, pay attention. That is not fear. That is recognition. Because something has already started moving, and it cannot be stopped. Before you think this is about global events or distant strangers, listen carefully. This is about your life, your environment, your circle, your destiny. The shift that is forming around you has been building quietly for months. Some of you felt it in your sleep. Some of you sensed it in strange conversations. Others noticed doors closing suddenly, without explanation. You thought it was random. It was not. Archangel Michael stands as heaven's warrior, the protector of divine timing, the defender of God's chosen ones. And when he speaks of something that cannot be stopped, it means a decree has already been released in the spiritual realm. The decision has been made. The motion has begun. You are not waiting for it. It is already unfolding. Have you noticed the unusual tension lately? The strange emotional shifts in people around you? The sudden exposure of hidden intentions? Truth is rising to the surface, and when truth rises, it does not ask permission. It reveals, and separates, and divides light from shadow. And here is the part that makes this serious. Some people near you are about to show their true face. Not because you asked, not because you confronted them, but because the season of concealment is ending. Archangel Michael does not fight small battles. He steps in when destinies are being tampered with, and there has been subtle interference around your path. Distractions, delays, confusion that did not come from you. You blamed yourself for losing motivation. You questioned your discipline. You wondered if you were spiritually weak. But what if the pressure was external? What if forces you cannot see were trying to slow you down? And what if heaven has decided, enough? Something irreversible is about to expose what has been hidden in your surroundings. It could be a conversation you were not meant to hear, but you will. It could be information that suddenly reaches you. It could be a confession, a mistake, a truth that slips out at the wrong time. When it happens, do not panic, because this exposure is protection. Right now, you are being positioned. That discomfort you feel is repositioning. That silence from certain people, it is divine distancing. That delay you were frustrated about, it was prevention. Archangel Michael is clearing the field before acceleration. But here is why this message is serious. If you ignore this, you may misinterpret what is coming. You may react emotionally instead of strategically. You may try to fix something that heaven is removing. You may defend someone that God is exposing. And in doing so, you could delay your own breakthrough. Do not interfere with divine exposure. Let truth rise. Let masks fall. Let the uncomfortable revelation happen. Because what is about to happen cannot be stopped, not because it is chaos, but because it is correction. There is a shift in authority around you. Power dynamics are changing. The person who thought they had control over your narrative is losing influence. The situation that felt stuck is about to turn suddenly. The silence that felt heavy is about to break. And when it does, you will remember this moment. You will remember that you were warned, not in fear, but in preparation. Archangel Michael's energy is not panic. It is precision. He does not shout unless urgency is required. And right now, urgency is required because timing is delicate. Your reaction in the next few weeks matters more than you realize. Observe more than you speak. Listen more than you explain. Watch more than you accuse. Because revelation is unfolding like dominoes, and the first piece has already fallen. You may feel like something is ending. That feeling is correct. But endings are not punishments. They are passages. And when heaven closes a door forcefully, it is because what was behind it was not aligned with your protection. You were being saved from something you did not fully see. And soon you will see it clearly. Do not treat this lightly. This is not grammatic language. This is spiritual intelligence. When divine order resets a situation, it does so with force and finality. There will be no going back to how things were. The illusion will not be rebuilt. The truth will not be covered again. Once revealed, it stays revealed. Ask yourself, why now? Why this message? Why this urgency? Because the window of awareness is small, and heaven wants you steady, not shocked. The next phase of your life requires clarity. It requires clean surroundings. It requires trustworthy alliances. And anything that does not match that frequency is being removed, either gently or abruptly. So breathe. You are not being attacked. You are being defended. You are not being abandoned. You are being separated from interference. And what is about to happen cannot be stopped because it was approved long before this moment. Stay aware. Stay calm. Stay aligned. The shift has begun. Beloved soul, the moment you realize that something cannot be stopped, your first instinct is either fear or surrender. But Archangel Michael is not calling you into fear. He's calling you into awareness. There is a difference. Fear paralyzes. Awareness prepares. And what is approaching your life requires preparation, not panic. The reason this is so serious is because many of you are standing at a spiritual crossroads without even knowing it. You feel pressure from different directions. One path looks familiar but heavy. The other feels uncertain but strangely peaceful. You keep questioning which one is safer. But here is the truth. What is about to happen will remove one of those paths entirely. You will not have the luxury of indecision for long. Archangel Michael's message is clear. When heaven moves, hesitation becomes dangerous. Not because you will be punished, but because delay can cause you to miss alignment. And alignment right now is everything. Something in your external world is about to shift suddenly. A plan may collapse. A person may reveal intentions that do not match their words. An opportunity may change form without warning. And in that moment, your reaction will determine whether you rise with the shift or resist it. This is why you were brought here before it unfolds. You have been too patient with something that was quietly draining you. You kept hoping it would improve. You kept telling yourself, maybe it's just a phase. But deep inside, your intuition has been unsettled. That subtle discomfort you ignored was not imagination. It was discernment. Archangel Michael has been guarding you from a larger destruction. What is coming now is not destruction. It is exposure. And exposure feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. The truth often shakes the ground before it stabilizes it. Pay attention to conversations over the next few days. Words will slip. Energies will shift. Someone may contradict themselves. Someone may suddenly distance themselves. Do not chase clarity. Let it reveal itself. The more you stay calm, the more clearly you will see. This cannot be stopped because the cycle has completed. You have learned what you needed to learn from this chapter. You have endured what you needed to endure. And now heaven is closing the file. If you try to reopen it, you will only exhaust yourself. There is also a deeper layer to this. Some of you have been praying for breakthrough. You asked for elevation. You asked for protection. But protection sometimes looks like removal. Elevation sometimes looks like separation. Breakthrough sometimes looks like confrontation with truth. You cannot carry hidden weight into your next season. Archangel Michael is cutting cords you were too emotionally attached to release. And when those cords snap, it may feel sudden. It may even feel unfair at first. But later, you will look back and see how precise this timing was. You are not losing stability. You are losing illusion. And illusions feel safe until they shatter. There is a recalibration happening around your reputation as well. Someone who underestimated you is about to witness your clarity. Someone who assumed you would remain silent will be surprised by your strength. Not because you attack, but because you refuse to be manipulated anymore. Stand firm, but stay silent when necessary. Silence will speak louder than defense. Archangel Michael is emphasizing discipline right now. Watch your reactions. Do not send that impulsive message. Do not over-explain yourself. Do not beg for understanding. What is real will not require persuasion. And here is something important. Do not isolate yourself emotionally. Stay spiritually grounded. Pray. Reflect. Journal. Clean your space. Raise your frequency. The clearer your mind is, the more gracefully you will move through this transition. If this message is resonating deeply with you, take a moment right now to like this video so more chosen souls can receive this warning. Share it with someone who needs clarity in this season. Comment below and declare that you are ready for truth. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing spiritual army. And if your spirit feels called, join the membership to stand closer to this mission. When you engage, you amplify the reach of heaven's message. Because what is coming next will test perception. Some of you will be tempted to soften the truth to keep peace. But peace built on denial does not last. Authentic peace requires revelation. And revelation is already in motion. You may notice dreams becoming vivid. You may sense unusual intuition spikes. You may feel guided to avoid certain places or conversations. Follow that guidance. Archangel Michael sharpens discernment before major shifts. And remember this carefully. What is about to happen is not random chaos. It is divine restructuring. If something collapses, it is because it could not carry your future. If someone walks away, it is because they were not assigned to your next chapter. Do not grieve what God is removing to protect you. Hold your composure. Stay observant. Let events unfold without forcing outcomes. Because the next revelation is closer than you think, and when it surfaces, you will understand why this message had to reach you first. Stay with this. The clarity that follows will change everything. Faithful one, what you are feeling right now is not imagination. It is the tremor before revelation. The ground beneath your current reality has already begun to shift, even if the surface still looks calm. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this moment like a guardian at the gate, ensuring that what is about to break open does not destroy you but delivers you. There is something hidden in plain sight around you. A truth that has been circulating quietly. a situation that hath been operating on partial honesty. And heaven has decided that partial honesty is no longer enough for your next level. You are stepping into a season where clarity is currency. Without it, you cannot advance. This is why what is about to happen cannot be stopped. It has reached divine timing. Some of you will see a sudden unraveling in a relationship. Others will witness a professional shift that exposes motives. A few of you will receive unexpected information that confirms what your intuition has whispered for months. When it comes, resist the urge to say, "I knew it." Instead, say, "Thank you for showing me." Gratitude in the moment of exposure accelerates protection. Archangel Michael is not just revealing what is wrong, he is restoring what is right. He is clearing distortion from your perception. There were narratives forming around you that were not accurate. There were assumptions spreading that did not represent your heart. And rather than allow those shadows to grow roots, heaven is bringing illumination. But illumination can feel intense. When light enters a dark room, it does not negotiate with the darkness. It displaces it instantly. And displacement can create emotional turbulence. You may feel anger. You may feel betrayal. You may feel relief mixed with sadness. Let yourself feel, but do not let emotions steer your decisions. The seriousness of this message lies in your response. You must not sabotage your own deliverance by clinging to familiarity. Some of you are more afraid of change than you are of misalignment. But misalignment drains you slowly. Change shocks you briefly but frees you permanently. Archangel Michael is cutting through confusion. There has been subtle manipulation in your environment. It was not always loud. It was not always obvious. It came through tone, through selective information, through strategic silence. But heaven sees what you overlooked, and heaven intervenes when destiny is at risk. You were about to make a compromise that would have delayed your growth. You were considering settling for less peace just to maintain comfort. This intervention is mercy disguised as disruption. Do not interpret it incorrectly. When something breaks apart, do not rush to repair it. Pause. Observe. Ask yourself whether it was meant to continue or whether it has simply completed its assignment in your life. Archangel Michael does not destroy without purpose. He dismantles only what obstructs your calling. There is also a spiritual strengthening happening within you. You may notice that you are less reactive than before. Situations that once would have triggered you now simply reveal themselves. That is growth. That is elevation. And it is proof that you are ready for what comes next. The exposure approaching you is not designed to shame anyone. It is designed to reposition you. Once the truth surfaces, your path will become clearer. Decisions you struggled with will suddenly feel obvious. Boundaries you hesitated to set will feel necessary. And when that clarity arrives, act with dignity. Silence will be more powerful than confrontation in most cases. Let action speak. Let distance protect. Let time confirm. Archangel Michael's presence around you right now is strong. He is shielding your mind from deception. He is shielding your heart from unnecessary bitterness. He is shielding your future from entanglement. You are not being isolated. You are being refined. There is also a blessing hidden inside this exposure. Once the truth comes out, new alliances will begin forming. People aligned with your frequency will feel safe approaching you. Opportunities that were waiting for clean energy will step forward. But first, the cleansing. Take this seriously. Do not treat the next unexpected event as coincidence. Recognize divine orchestration. You are in a transition that has been scheduled in heaven long before you sensed it on earth. Stand steady. Trust discernment over emotion. Choose peace over pride. Because what is about to happen is not punishment. It is protection. It is preparation. It is positioning. And when you look back at this period months from now, you will realize that this was the turning point. If this message has pierced your spirit, type "I receive divine clarity" in the comments right now. Blessing code 731 has just been released over your path. The moment you declare it, you align with it. And as this revelation unfolds in your life, remember this: when you sow into light, you become part of its expansion. This channel is not just content. It is a vessel carrying warnings, protection, and awakening to thousands who are standing where you once stood. The Lord says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you," not as a transaction, but as a multiplication of purpose. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a platform. You are fueling a spiritual alarm that wakes sleeping destinies. I feel led to act now. That thought in your heart is not random. It is invitation. As oil was poured in ancient times to consecrate kings, your giving pours oil on this mission so it can reach the next soul before it is too late. Do not hesitate when heaven prompts generosity. This is fertile ground. Every seed you release becomes light in someone else's darkness. And I declare over every giver, may open doors chase you, may protection surround your household, and may clarity increase in your decisions. Step into this moment boldly. Sow with faith. Activate the harvest. Warrior of light, now that you have been warned, the atmosphere around you will begin to feel different. Subtle at first, always unnoticeable. But if you are spiritually sensitive, you will detect it immediately. Conversations will carry hidden weight. Silences will speak louder than words. Small events will feel unusually significant. This is not paranoia. This is heightened awareness. Archangel Michael does not announce irreversible shifts without preparing your spirit to recognize them. The reason you are being made alert is because the unfolding will require maturity. You cannot respond like your old self. You cannot react from wounded emotion. You must move from elevated perception. There is a pattern breaking in your life. Something that repeated itself for years is reaching its expiration. It may be a cycle of attracting the wrong alliances. It may be a habit of doubting your instincts. It may be a tendency to overextend yourself to maintain peace. Whatever it is, the repetition is ending. And when cycles end, there is often resistance from those who benefited from your old version. Be ready for that. Some individuals will sense that they are losing influence over you. They may attempt to reassert control subtly. They may question your decisions. They may test your boundaries. Do not engage in power struggles. Simply stand firm. Archangel Michael's energy is authority without aggression. You do not need to prove your transformation. You only need to live it. As the truth begins surfacing in your environment, remember that exposure is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet realization, a shift in tone, a look in someone's eyes that confirms what you suspected. Sometimes it is the sudden absence of effort from someone who once pretended to care deeply. Let their withdrawal be information. You are entering a season where discernment will save you time. And time is sacred right now. There are opportunities approaching that require your full focus. If you waste energy trying to salvage what heaven is dissolving, you will feel drained when the new door opens. This is strategic repositioning. Archangel Michael is clearing distractions before acceleration. You may not see the acceleration yet, but it is forming. Behind the scenes, circumstances are aligning. Conversations are happening that you are unaware of. Decisions are being made that will affect your future positively. But before elevation, there must be separation. You cannot carry unresolved entanglements into a higher assignment. You might notice that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Situations that you once endured calmly now feel unbearable. That is not weakness. That is growth. When your frequency rises, what once felt normal begins to feel heavy. Trust that shift. There is also a recalibration happening within your confidence. You are remembering who you were before compromise diluted your clarity. You are remembering your standards, your values, your spiritual sensitivity, and that remembrance is intimidating to anyone who preferred you uncertain. Do not dim your clarity to make others comfortable. Archangel Michael stands for truth with backbone. This is the season where your backbone strengthens. You will say less but mean more. You will tolerate less but love wiser. You will engage less but observe deeper. And observation will reveal everything. In the coming days, you may experience a defining moment. A statement someone makes. A decision presented to you. A crossroads that demands immediate clarity. Do not rush. Pause internally. Ask yourself whether this aligns with the future you sensed earlier in this message. If it feels forced, it is not aligned. If it feels rushed, it is likely manipulation. Divine timing does not pressure. Impositions. What cannot be stopped is the unveiling of misalignment. But what you can control is your response. Choose grace over revenge. Choose silence over drama. Choose dignity over emotional reaction. Because your composure will confuse those who expected chaos. There is strength in restraint. Archangel Michael is also guarding your mind from overthinking. Resist the temptation to analyze every small detail. When clarity comes, it will be unmistakable. You will not need to decode it. It will stand in front of you plainly. And when it does, act with courage. Courage does not mean confrontation. Sometimes courage means walking away without explanation. Sometimes courage means declining an offer without justification. Sometimes courage means trusting your intuition when others disagree. You are being trained for higher discernment. Do not cling to nostalgia. The past will try to remind you of good memories to keep you attached. But remember why growth is necessary. Remember the nights of doubt. Remember the times you felt unseen. Growth is not betrayal of the past. It is loyalty to your future. Archangel Michael's sword symbolizes decisive truth. And decisive truth is cutting through confusion now. You may feel the cutting. It may sting briefly. But once the fog clears, you will breathe easier. Prepare yourself emotionally. Strengthen your spiritual discipline. Guard your words. Observe carefully. The irreversible shift continues to unfold. And you are not a victim of it. You are being elevated by... Hold steady. Precious one, there is a reason your spirit has been restless. Restlessness is often the soul's early warning system. Before events change externally, something shifts internally. You may have noticed yourself questioning things you once accepted without hesitation. You may have felt a quiet dissatisfaction with situations that used to feel stable. That is not ingratitude. That is awakening. Archangel Michael is intensifying your discernment because the next phase requires sharper vision. What is about to happen cannot be stopped, but how you navigate it will determine how smoothly you transition into what follows. There is a revealing of motives approaching. Not dramatic exposure in front of crowds, but precise unveiling in personal spaces. A private truth that changes how you see someone. a subtle discovery that alters your trust, a moment when someone's energy no longer matches their words. When that moment arrives, do not argue with your intuition. For too long, you have overridden your inner voice to maintain harmony. You gave people the benefit of the doubt repeatedly. You convinced yourself that your discomfort was overreaction. But Archangel Michael is restoring your confidence in your own perception. Discernment is not judgment. It is protection. As this revelation unfolds, you may feel two conflicting emotions at once: relief and disappointment. Relief because your intuition is validated. Disappointment because something you hoped was solid turns out to be fragile. Allow both emotions to exist without letting either control your next step. What is collapsing is not your future. It is your illusion. And illusions cannot survive in elevated seasons. There is also something shifting in your professional or financial environment. A door that looked promising may suddenly close. An opportunity may delay unexpectedly. Do not interpret this as loss. It is redirection. Archangel Michael blocks pathways that would entangle you in long-term frustration. Trust divine interruption. You are being rerouted toward something cleaner, something aligned with your growth. But rerouting often feels like delay before it feels like blessing. Patience in this moment will preserve your peace. Watch how people respond to your boundaries in the coming days. When you say no, observe who respects it and who resists it. Resistance will reveal hidden expectations. Respect will reveal true alignment. This is serious because once these dynamics are exposed, you cannot unsee them. And once you see clearly, you will be responsible for acting accordingly. There is strength building in you that even you have not fully recognized. Situations that once would have shattered your confidence now simply clarify your direction. That is growth. That is resilience. That is the mark of someone who has endured quietly and learned deeply. Archangel Michael is also shielding you from unnecessary retaliation. If someone realizes they are losing control over your narrative, they may attempt subtle tactics to regain influence. Stay neutral. Do not engage in emotional games. The more composed you remain, the more obvious their tactics will appear. Silence will protect you more than explanation. There is a refining process happening in your character. You are learning to respond rather than react, to observe rather than assume, to detach rather than cling. These are not small shifts. They are foundational transformations. And foundation determines longevity. The reason this cannot be stopped is because you have prayed for growth. You have asked for clarity. You have desired alignment. Now that those prayers are being answered, do not retreat because the process feels intense. Growth is rarely comfortable, but comfort without growth leads to stagnation. You are being separated from what tolerated you into what celebrates you. You are being lifted from what drained you into what strengthens you. But before the lift becomes visible, the drain must be acknowledged. Do not minimize what you endure. It taught you discernment. It taught you patience. It taught you boundaries. And those lessons are about to be applied in real time. There may be a conversation that feels inevitable. If it comes, stay calm. Speak only what is necessary. You do not owe anyone your entire emotional history. Clarity does not require oversharing. Strength does not require aggression. Archangel Michael's presence around you is firm yet peaceful. You may feel an unusual calm even when tension rises around you. That calm is not denial. It is protection. Hold on to it. In the next stretch of days, events will move quickly. Information will surface. Decisions will crystallize. Dynamics will shift. It may feel like acceleration after a long period of waiting. Do not panic in acceleration. Remember this message when it unfolds. Remember that you were told before, and so you would not be shocked. Awareness transforms chaos into strategy. You are not being destabilized. You are being repositioned. And once this repositioning is complete, you will stand in a clearer space with fewer distractions and stronger alignment. Stay steady. The irreversible shift continues, and you are being prepared to rise within it. Anointed listener, the air around you is thick with transition. You may not see dramatic changes yet, but you can feel that something is rearranging itself behind the curtain of your daily routine. Archangel Michael is not only announcing what cannot be stopped, he is fortifying you so that when the visible shift arrives, you are not shaken by it. There is a silent countdown happening in your environment, a tension building beneath ordinary interactions. People sense it, even if they cannot name it. Conversations may feel slightly guarded. Smiles may seem rehearsed. Plans may feel uncertain. You are not imagining this. You are detecting the prelude to exposure. The reason this is serious is because some of you are still emotionally invested in outcomes that are already expiring. You are holding on to versions of people that no longer exist. You are hoping for consistency from someone who has already shifted internally. And when the external confirmation comes, it may feel abrupt, but it is not abrupt in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael has been observing this pattern long before you recognized it. He has watched the subtle compromises, the delayed honesty, the unspoken tedium, and now the moment of unveiling approaches. Do not try to prevent it. There is also a lesson in restraint unfolding here. When truth surfaces, you may be tempted to confront immediately. You may want to release everything you have held in. But pause. Timing matters. Tone matters. Your peace matters. Not every truth requires dramatic delivery. Sometimes the most powerful response is quiet withdrawal. Sometimes the strongest move is dignified distance. Archangel Michael's strength is disciplined, not impulsive. He does not swing without precision. You are being called to that same precision. There is also something forming on the other side of this exposure. A new connection. A cleaner opportunity. A door that aligns with your growth. But you will not recognize it clearly if your focus remains fixed on what is dissolving. Detach with grace. Some of you will feel tested emotionally. Someone may attempt to provoke a reaction. They may sense the shift and try to reassert influence before it disappears. Do not give them the satisfaction of emotional chaos. Stay centered. When you refuse to react, you expose more than confrontation ever could. Archangel Michael is also strengthening your intuition through dreams and sudden insights. You may wake up with clarity about a situation that confused you for months. You may feel an inner knowing that feels undeniable. Trust that knowing. It is protection in advance. And here is something you must understand deeply. What cannot be stopped is not designed to harm you. It is designed to free you. You have outgrown something quietly, and now the environment must adjust accordingly. Growth forces rearrangement. The rearrangement may temporarily feel uncomfortable. Schedules may change. Dynamics may shift. Familiar patterns may dissolve. But discomfort is not danger. It is adjustment. In this moment, stay spiritually grounded. Guard your thoughts. Avoid negative self-talk. This shift is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of your elevation. If this message is aligning with your spirit right now, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video so that the algorithm carries it to someone else standing at the same crossroads. Share it with a friend who has been sensing a shift but cannot explain it. Comment your declaration of readiness for truth. Subscribe if you have not already, and become part of this growing community that stands under divine awareness. If your heart feels moved, step into membership and stand closer to this mission. Your engagement strengthens the reach of this message far beyond what you can see. Because what is about to unfold next will require witnesses who are awake. Hold on, because the next wave of clarity will make everything you endured subtly make sense. You are not being abandoned. You are being advanced. There will be a defining moment soon when you realize that something you feared losing was actually limiting you. That realization will feel like weight lifting from your chest. You will breathe differently, think differently, move differently. Archangel Michael is clearing spiritual debris from your path. All misunderstandings, hidden agendas, emotional entanglements. They cannot travel with you into your next assignment. Trust this clearing. You may feel moments of solitude during this transition. Do not interpret solitude as isolation. It is recalibration. It is space being made for healthier alignment. Remain calm as events accelerate. Do not overshare your plans. Do not reveal your strategies prematurely. Protect your vision until it stabilizes. The irreversible shift continues its course. And when the exposure fully unfolds, you will not be shocked. You will be prepared. Stay steady. Steadfast heart. You have now entered the narrow corridor between revelation and resolution. This is the space where tension feels thick, where answers hover just beyond reach, where something inside you knows change is no longer optional. Archangel Michael stands watch in this corridor, not allowing confusion to overtake you, but also not allowing illusion to return. This is the turning phase. What hath been hinted at is about to become undeniable. You may notice that the behavior of someone around you becomes inconsistent. One day warm, the next distant. One moment supportive, the next subtly dismissive. These fluctuations are not random. They are signs of internal instability being exposed externally. When someone senses that truth is surfacing, their mask becomes harder to maintain. Observe, but do not chase explanation. The seriousness of this message lies in the finality of what is coming. Once the truth is revealed clearly, there will be no comfortable return to how things were. Even if conversations attempt to smooth it over, you will feel the difference. Awareness changes everything. Archangel Michael is sharpening your ability to read energy beyond words. You will begin noticing what is not being said. The pauses, the deflections, the subtle shifts in tone. These details will form a picture that is impossible to ignore. Do not gaslight yourself. For too long, you have minimized your perception to keep relationships intact. You told yourself you were overthinking. You convinced yourself you were too sensitive. But sensitivity is not weakness when guided by discernment. It is intelligence. There is also a deeper layer unfolding within you. As external truths rise, internal strength rises with them. You are no longer the version of yourself that tolerated confusion for the sake of connection. You are no longer willing to carry emotional weight that is not yours. That evolution is irreversible. Some of you will face a moment where someone attempts to rewrite history. They may downplay past actions. They may shift blame subtly. They may try to reframe events to preserve their image. Stay grounded in facts. Do not argue endlessly. Simply refuse to accept distortion. Truth does not require volume to stand. Archangel Michael's presence in this season is protective but also empowering. He is not fighting your battles for you. He is strengthening your spine so you can stand without trembling. There is dignity in your silence. There is authority in your calm. As exposure unfolds, you may experience a wave of clarity that feels almost shocking. Something will click into place. A pattern you never fully articulated will suddenly make sense. And once you see it, you will wonder how you ever doubted yourself. That realization is freedom. But freedom requires release. You cannot step into higher alignment while secretly hoping the old dynamic revives. You cannot pray for elevation while emotionally anchored to misalignment. The contradiction must end. Archangel Michael is cutting through that contradiction now. There may be a brief period of discomfort after the truth surfaces. Silence from certain people. Distance in familiar spaces. A sense of emptiness where noise once existed. You not fear this quiet. It is sacred. It is space being cleared for something healthier. In that quiet, reflect instead of reacting. Ask yourself what this experience taught you. Identify the boundaries you will carry forward. Strengthen your commitment to self-respect. You are not losing connection. You are losing confusion. And confusion has cost you enough. The coming days may bring a definitive conversation or a decisive event. It may be subtle but final. A tone shift that confirms separation. A decision that ends negotiation. When it happens, you will feel both gravity and relief. Let relief lead. Archangel Michael is reminding you that endings are not always loud. Sometimes they are a quiet inner decision. A moment when you simply know you will not return to what dominated you. Trust that moment. There is also a blessing hidden in this transition that you have not yet seen. Once the space clears, you will recognize opportunities that were previously blocked by emotional distraction. New clarity will attract new alignment. People who operate in honesty will feel safer approaching you. But first, the last layer of illusion must dissolve. Stay composed. Stay observant. Stay spiritually anchored. The shift cannot be stopped, but it is not out of control. It is guided. It is measured. It is purposeful. You are walking through the final stretch of exposure. And on the other side, you will stand lighter, wiser, and stronger than before. Chosen vessel, you are now standing at the edge of visible confirmation. What was once subtle is about to become clear. What was once intuition is about to become evidence. Archangel Michael has not brought you this far to leave you uncertain. The unveiling that cannot be stopped is reaching its peak. Feel the shift. There is a weight lifting even before the final truth fully surfaces. That weight you carried for months, maybe years, with a strain of sensing misalignment without proof. Living in that tension is exhausting. Smiling while doubting. Hoping while questioning. Trusting while second-guessing. That internal conflict is ending. When the revelation comes, it may arrive through unexpected channels. A message forwarded to you. A comment overheard. A decision made without including you. Or perhaps a direct admission that changes everything in an instant. However it arrives, it will carry one undeniable quality: clarity. And clarity will not ask permission to disrupt comfort. Archangel Michael's role in this moment is not just protector but revealer. He is exposing not to embarrass but to liberate. What you thought was stable may show cracks. What you thought was loyal may reveal conditions. What you thought was mutual may prove one-sided. Let it reveal. You may feel a surge of emotion when the truth becomes undeniable. That surge is natural. But do not let it dictate your next move. Pause. Breathe. Step back internally. The first reaction is rarely the wisest one. You have grown beyond impulsive defense. This is the serious part. Once clarity arrives, you must honor it. Do not minimize it because confrontation feels uncomfortable. Do not rationalize it away because loneliness feels intimidating. The truth is a gift, even when it stings. Archangel Michael is cutting cords that drain you slowly. Those cords may have been emotional dependency, unbalanced effort, or silent tolerance of disrespect. Once severed, you will feel both the sting and the relief. Relief will grow stronger with time. There will also be a moment of empowerment that surprises you. After the initial shock settles, you will notice a steady calm replacing confusion. You will think more clearly, sleep more peacefully, move more intentionally. That calm is evidence of alignment being restored. Trust that calm. Some people will try to salvage their position in your life once they realize the illusion is gone. They may apologize strategically. They may attempt charm. They may promise change. Listen carefully, but do not surrender discernment. Words must be matched by consistent action over time. Archangel Michael is not interested in temporary fixes. He is securing long-term alignment. There is also something else happening quietly behind this exposure. A door that was previously blocked by emotional distraction is unlocking. An opportunity that required your full clarity is approaching. But you could not see it while entangled in confusion. Now your vision sharpens. The seriousness of this season is not about loss. It is about transition. You are moving from survival mode into intentional living. From reactive patterns into conscious choices. From uncertainty into authority. This cannot be stopped because you are ready. You may feel tempted to revisit old memories, to question whether you overreacted. Do not spiral into self-doubt. The peace you feel after clarity is confirmation that you are not imagining things. Peace is the signal. Archangel Michael stands beside you not as a distant figure, but as a symbol of courage within you. The courage to release. The courage to move forward without full answers. The courage to trust divine orchestration. You have been prepared for this moment through every previous disappointment, every delay, every uncomfortable lesson. Nothing was wasted. And now, the chapter closes. If this message has awakened something undeniable inside you, type "I step into truth" in the comments right now. Lesson code 964 is being activated over your decisions. Declare it boldly. As this exposure clears your path, understand that this mission of light continues because souls like yours choose to stand with it. When you release a super thanks, join the membership, or so through the PayPal link in the description. You are not supporting a channel alone. You are fueling a trumpet that sounds before storms hit. Scripture says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." When you give, you become part of that shining. I feel the prompting to act in faith. That thought stirring in you is not pressure. It is invitation. Like seed placed in fertile soil, your generosity multiplies into clarity for someone who is still confused tonight. Do not delay obedience when heaven nudges your heart. Those who sow into revelation reap protection. I declare over every giver that doors of favor open, that provision flows like a river, and that peace settles in your household. Step forward in faith. Activate your seed. Strengthen the light. Courageous spirit. Now that truth has stepped into the light, you are entering the aftermath phase. This is where many people become confused. The revelation has happened. The illusion has dissolved. But the emotional dust is still settling. Archangel Michael is still present in this phase, not with a sword raised, but with a shield steady. The shield is for your heart. When exposure occurs, it does not only remove deception, it also removes familiarity. And familiarity even when flawed, can feel safe. You may catch yourself missing the version of reality you once believed in. Not because it was better, but because it was predictable. You not mistake predictability for peace. There is a cleansing happening inside you now. Thoughts are rearranging themselves. Memories are being reprocessed under new light. Conversations from the past may replay in your mind, but now you hear them differently. Details that once seemed small now feel significant. This is clarity integrative. Archangel Michael is helping you reinterpret your past without bitterness. It would be easy to feel anger. It would be easy to dwell on what should have been said or done. But anger, if held too long, becomes another chain. And chains have already been broken in this season. You are not meant to trade one form of bondage for another. Instead, you are being invited into discernment without resentment, wisdom without cynicism, strength without hardness. That balance is powerful. There may still be attempts from others to regain influence. After exposure, some people try to re-enter quietly, as if nothing changed. They may send casual messages. They may test the waters with light conversation. Pay attention to your body's reaction. If your peace tightens, that is information. Peace is your compass now. Archangel Michael's guidance in this moment is subtle but firm. Do not rebuild what heaven dismantled. Even if nostalgia tempts you, even if loneliness whispers, even if pride wants to prove you were right all along, you do not need to prove anything. The truth proved itself. As emotional dust settles, you will notice something unexpected. Your energy returns. Tasks that once felt heavy become lighter. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become simple. It is as if a background noise has finally stopped. That silence is sacred. In that silence, you will begin to hear new ideas, fresh inspiration, subtle nudges toward change that once felt risky. This is the opening phase of your next chapter. But do not rush into it impulsively. Stability after revelation requires grounding. Take time to strengthen your routines. Reconnect with disciplines that anchor you spiritually and mentally. Protect your sleep. Guard your thoughts. Be selective about who has access to your vulnerability right now. Healing is not isolation, but it is intentional. Archangel Michael is also reminding you that exposure is not your identity. What happened around you does not define your future. You are not the betrayal. You are not the disappointment. You are not the broken dynamic. You are the one who walked through it and remained intact. A distinction matters. There will be moments when you reflect and feel gratitude for what was removed. Not because it was pleasant, but because it revealed your strength. You endured uncertainty. You navigated discomfort. You stood in truth when it would have been easier to pretend. That resilience is preparation. Something larger is ahead. A responsibility that requires emotional maturity. A connection that requires clarity. An opportunity that demands discernment. If the illusion had remained, you would have entered that next season distracted and divided. Now you enter whole. Do not underestimate the magnitude of what just happened. Even if it seems small externally, internally it was transformative. A mindset shifted. A boundary strengthened. A pattern broken. And broken patterns do not regenerate unless invited. So do not invite them. Archangel Michael's presence now feels less intense, but no less real. The battle phase is ending. The rebuilding phase is beginning. And rebuilding requires patience. Give yourself grace. You may not have all the answers yet. You may not see the full picture. But you have something more important: clarity about what does not belong in your life. that clarity is foundation. Stand on it. The irreversible event has occurred. The truth surface. The illusion dissolved. And you are still standing. Now prepare for what clarity will attract. Because when confusion leaves, alignment finds you faster than you expect. Resilient one, you are no longer in the storm. You are in the stillness that follows it. And sometimes the stillness can feel unfamiliar. After intensity, quiet feels almost suspicious. But this quiet is not a trap. It is restoration. Archangel Michael is not only the warrior who reveals truth, he is also the guardian who ensures that after revelation, your spirit is rebuilt stronger than before. You have crossed a threshold. Something in you has changed permanently. The way you evaluate people, the way you interpret behavior, the way you respond to subtle red flags. You are no longer operating from blind trust. You are operating from aware trust. And that shift cannot be undone. There may still be moments when memories surface unexpectedly. A conversation that now sounds different in hindsight. A gesture that you once misread. Do not dwell in regret. Regret drains power from the present. Instead, acknowledge the lesson and move forward with gratitude for the clarity you now possess. Archangel Michael's message in this phase is about discipline. Discipline in thought. Discipline in speech. Discipline in emotional access. Not everyone deserves immediate access to your renewed vulnerability. Let people earn proximity through consistency. Consistency is the new standard. As you rebuild your internal foundation, you will notice that your tolerance for chaos has diminished significantly. Environments that thrive on confusion will now feel draining almost instantly. This is not arrogance. It is elevation. Guard your elevation. You are stepping into a chapter where your time becomes more valuable. Opportunities that align with your growth will begin to surface subtly. They may not look dramatic at first. They may appear simple. But they will feel clean, honest, uncomplicated. Choose what feels clean. The seriousness of what you walked through was never about loss. It was about awakening. And now that you are awake, you cannot return to sleep. Even if you tried, your spirit would not allow it. There is also a strengthening of your voice happening. You will begin to speak with more certainty. You will explain less and declare more. Not from ego, but from clarity. People will sense the difference. Some will respect it. Some will retreat from it. Let both responses happen naturally. Archangel Michael is reminding you that your responsibility now is not to fix what was exposed, but to build what is aligned. Focus on cultivating healthy rhythms. Strengthen your connection with God. Rebuild trust slowly where it is earned. And most importantly, trust yourself again. Self-trust is sacred. If this message has walked with you from the beginning and you feel the transformation taking root, now is the moment to engage. Like this video so that others navigating exposure can find clarity. Share it with someone who is still questioning their intuition. Comment your declaration of strength and renewal. Subscribe if you have not yet joined this community and become part of a movement that chooses truth over illusion. If you feel called to stand closer to this mission, join the membership and walk in deeper alignment with these messages. Because what you have experienced is not isolated. Many are standing at similar thresholds, unaware that clarity is knocking. And here is the retention of your focus. What comes next will not be loud, but it will be powerful. You will want to stay attentive because the next phase is about acceleration. Acceleration after alignment. Archangel Michael's work in your life now transitions from exposure to empowerment. Doors that were once closed due to misalignment will open naturally. Conversations will flow without tension. Opportunities will not require you to compromise your peace. This is what divine restructuring produces. But acceleration requires responsibility. Do not rush into commitments without discernment. Do not mistake opportunity for assignment. Evaluate carefully. Pray intentionally. Move strategically. You have earned this clarity. Protect it. There will be a defining moment soon where you realize you are no longer emotionally tethered to what once controlled your thoughts. That realization will feel liberating. You will notice how much mental space hath been freed. Fill that space wisely. Archangel Michael stands not in front of you now, but beside you. The battle has passed. The rebuilding has begun. And the path ahead is clearer than it has been in a long time. Walk it with confidence. The shift that could not be stopped has completed its purpose. Now you rise within the aftermath, stronger and more discerning than ever before. Victorious soul, you are now standing in a space that once felt impossible to reach. Not because the journey was loud, but because it was internal. The greatest battles are rarely visible to others. They are fought in silence, in thought patterns, in private prayers, in moments when no one else sees the weight you carry. Archangel Michael has walked with you through that invisible war, and now you are standing on the other side of exposure with clarity in your hands. This is the rebuilding of authority. You may not realize it yet, but something powerful has shifted in how you carry yourself. There is less desperation in your tone, less anxiety in your decisions, less fear in your silence. When illusion dissolved it, it took insecurity with it. What remains is steadiness. Steadiness is strength. You are no longer chasing reassurance. You are no longer bending yourself to maintain connections that strain your spirit. You are no longer over-explaining your boundaries. That transformation did not happen overnight. It was forged in discomfort. It was refined through disappointment. It was sharpened by truth. Archangel Michael's presence now feels like confirmation rather than warning. The alarm has sounded. The truth has surfaced. The shift has occurred. And now you are being positioned not just as someone who survived exposure, but as someone who leads with discernment. Leadership begins with self-mastery. There may still be echoes of the past attempting to reach you. A message, a memory, a moment of nostalgia. But those echoes no longer control you. They simply remind you of how far you have come. You can acknowledge them without being pulled back into them. That is growth. There is also a spiritual promotion unfolding quietly. When you pass through a season of truth without collapsing into bitterness, you graduate. You rise in emotional maturity. You rise in spiritual awareness. You rise in confidence. And elevation attracts responsibility. Be ready. You may soon find yourself guiding others through similar awakenings. People will sense your clarity. They will ask for your perspective. They will notice your calm when tension rises. What you walked through was not only for you. It refined you so you could stand as steady ground for someone else. Archangel Michael is not just a protector. He is a trainer of warriors. And you have been trained. The seriousness of this message continues because your awareness must remain sharp. Just because one illusion fell does not mean discernment can rest. Growth is ongoing. Alignment is maintained through vigilance. Guard your peace. As opportunities begin to increase, choose carefully. Not every open door is divine. Not every invitation is aligned. Use the discernment that was strengthened through exposure. Evaluate character. Observe consistency. Trust patterns more than promises. You are no longer impressed by words alone. There will also be a restoration of joy that surprises you. Laughter will feel lighter. Rest will feel deeper. You will notice how much emotional energy was once consumed by confusion. With that confusion gone, space opens for creativity, productivity, and genuine connection. Fill that space intentionally. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that strength and gentleness can coexist. You do not need to become hardened to remain protected. You can be open without being naive. You can be kind without being compromised. That balance is your new foundation. Soon, there will be a visible sign that confirms this entire transition was necessary. It may be a new opportunity that feels undeniably aligned. It may be a conversation that reflects the maturity you have gained. It may be an unexpected blessing that would not have fit into your previous circumstances. When it comes, receive it without hesitation. Do not question whether you deserve it. You endured the refining. You honored the truth. You stood firm when it would have been easier to pretend. You earned clarity, and clarity prepares you for acceleration. The irreversible shift that began as a warning has now become a testimony. You did not crumble. You did not retreat. You did not rebuild illusion. You allowed truth to do its work. Archangel Michael's role now is not to warn you, but to walk beside you as you step into what is next. The atmosphere around you feels lighter because it is. The tension has broken. The weight has lifted. You are not the same person who first heard that something could not be stopped. You are stronger. And the final confirmation of this transformation is approaching, not as a disruption, but as a blessing that proves every exposure was protection in disguise. Beloved warrior of light, this is the moment where everything comes full circle. What began as a warning has become a revelation. What felt like a threat has proven to be protection. Archangel Michael declared that what was about to happen could not be stopped, and now you understand why. It could not be stopped because it was divine correction. It could not be stopped because it was mercy in motion. It could not be stopped because your destiny required it. Look at where you stand now. The confusion that once clouded your judgment has cleared. The tension that once tightened your chest has eased. The emotional noise that once distracted your focus has quieted. You are not merely surviving the aftermath. You are standing in authority because of it. This final phase is about integration. Everything you learn must now become lifestyle. The discernment you gain must become habit. The boundaries you strengthen must remain firm. The clarity you received must not fade with comfort. Archangel Michael's final instruction in this season is simple but powerful. Do not return to what God removed. There will be moments when familiarity tempts you, when loneliness whispers, when nostalgia paints the past in softer colors than it deserves. But you now see clearly. You now understand the cost of ignoring intuition. You now recognize the signs of misalignment early. That awareness is sacred. The seriousness of this entire journey was never about fear. It was about awakening you before greater damage could occur. If exposure had been delayed, you might have invested deeper. If clarity had been postponed, you might have compromised further. If truth had remained hidden, you might have built your future on unstable ground. Heaven intervened. Archangel Michael stepped into your timeline not to frighten you, but to fortify you. And because you listened, because you remained steady, because you chose truth over comfort, your path has been corrected before permanent harm could take root. This is victory. Not loud victory. Not dramatic applause, but quiet, powerful, internal triumph. You faced reality and did not collapse. You saw truth and did not deny it. You felt pain and did not let it harden you. That is strength. Now the acceleration begins fully. What once felt delayed will begin moving. What once felt blocked will begin opening. What once felt uncertain will begin stabilizing. And you will recognize that the exposure was not the end of something good. It was the end of something misaligned. Expect alignment now. Expect conversations that feel easy instead of tense. Expect opportunities that require no manipulation. Expect connections that honor your boundaries without resistance. Expect peace that does not depend on performance. Archangel Michael's assignment in this chapter is complete, but his protection remains. You walk forward not naive but aware, not fearful but discerning, not wounded but wiser. And here is the final confirmation. What could not be stopped was never sent to destroy you. It was sent to refine you. If you receive this fully in your spirit, type "I walk in divine protection" in the comments right now. Blessing code 1441 is released over your future. Seal it with faith. As this journey closes, understand something sacred. This message reached you because someone chose to sow into light. Someone chose to support the trumpet before the storm. And now you have clarity because the word traveled without restriction. The Lord declares, "I will pour out my spirit on all flesh, and when you give, you become a vessel for that outpouring." I feel called to respond in obedience. If this awakening guarded your destiny, then your seed can guard another soul's tomorrow. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding content. You are igniting revelation. Your generosity becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning in dark places. Do not ignore the nudge in your spirit. This is fertile ground, and seeds planted here multiply in unseen realms. I declare that as you give, heaven responds with provision, protection, and divine acceleration over your household. Let your action be prophetic. Strengthen the mission. Sow boldly and become part of the light that cannot be stopped.